Once upon a time, in a kingdom of towering spires, lived a queen who was beautiful, but cold and cruel. Every day she consulted her magic mirror, for she could not bear the thought of anyone surpassing her beauty. But on this day,
mirror on the wall, who is the fairest one of all?
A beautiful girl named Snow White. Alas, she is more fair than thee.
the answer was different. A rival had appeared. The queen knew the name well, her own stepdaughter. Snow White worked as a scullery maid, dressed in rags. Yet her kindness shone brighter than any jewel. She sang to the birds and the water, dreaming of a happier life. But high above, hate was festering. The queen could no longer tolerate her rival's existence. She summoned her most faithful huntsman and gave him a terrible command.
Take her into the forest. Find some secluded glade where she can pick wildflowers.
He was to return with proof of the deed, a task that weighed heavy on his soul. The next morning, Snow White was led into the deep woods. She believed it was a special outing. Unaware of the danger,
Aren't they lovely?
she found a clearing filled with wildflowers, her heart full of innocent joy. Even the creatures of the wild were drawn to her gentleness. But the huntsman watched from the shadows, the queen's orders ringing in his ears. He steeled himself. He drew his blade. Snow White turned, her eyes wide with terror. But the huntsman's heart broke. He could not harm a soul so pure.
I can't do it! Forgive me, princess! Forgive me!
He revealed the queen's wicked plot and begged her to flee.
She is very jealousy. She wants to kill you, princess! Run away from here, please!
Terrified, Snow White ran. She ran away from her home, her life, and the only world she had ever known. The forest seemed to turn against her. Roots tripped her feet, and branches clawed at her dress like skeletal fingers. As night fell, the darkness was filled with 1,000 watching eyes. She was alone. When the morning sun pierced through the leaves, the terrors of the night vanished. Snow White dusted herself off. She was lost, but she was alive. Through the trees, she spotted a tiny, charming cottage.
Oh, how adorable! Like a doll's house.
Nestled in a clearing. Hoping to find shelter, she approached the little house. She knocked, but silence was the only answer.
Hello? May I come in?
The door creaked open, inviting her into the shadows. What a mess it was. Dust blanketed everything, and cobwebs hung from the ceiling.
My, it's dark and dusty.
Let's clean it up. Maybe they'll let me stay.
Work began. The forest animals pitched in, turning chores into a game. The birds took care of the laundry, while the squirrels swept away the dust. Soon, the gloomy cottage was transformed into a cozy, sparkling home.
There.
Exhausted from
Now
her
it's
long
a
journey
home.
and all the cleaning, Snow White needed rest. Upstairs, she
Dot,
found 7 little beds, each with a
Sneasel,
name carved into the
Bashful,
wood.
Sleepy Dopity.
The beds were too small for her, so she curled up across 3 of them. Within moments, the princess was fast asleep. Miles away, deep underground, the masters of the cottage were hard at work. The 7 Dwarfs. They mined for diamonds and rubies, unaware of the guests sleeping in their home. As the workday ended, they began their long march home, singing their favorite song. Through the woods and over the hills they went, eager for supper and rest. But as the cottage came into view, they froze.
The light's lit!
Smoke
I told
curled
you
from the
so.
chimney, and the windows glowed
Trouble.
with light. Fearing a goblin or a demon had invaded, they crept closer, quiet as mice. Inside, the sight baffled them. The cobwebs were gone, and the floor was swept clean.
Whatever
The only
it
place
is,
left to check
it's
was the
clean.
bedroom. Step by step, they ascended, ready to face the intruder. But there was no monster, only a beautiful maiden sleeping soundly. Snow White awoke with a start, but she quickly saw they meant her no harm.
7 little men. Please, don't send me away. My stepmother, the queen, wants to kill me.
You can stay. We'll protect you.
Thank you so much.
The cottage became a place of joy. They sang, danced, and lived as a happy family. But the queen soon discovered the huntsman's deception. Snow White was still alive, hidden deep in the forest. This time she would leave nothing to chance. She brewed a terrible poison and infused it into a tempting red apple. To trick the princess, the queen used dark magic to transform herself into an old, harmless peddler woman.
Disguise.
The next morning, the dwarfs left for work, warning Snow White to keep the door locked. But moments after they left, a shadow fell over the cottage. The old woman appeared, offering a gift. The animals sensed the evil. They tried to drive the witch away, attacking her with all their might. Snow White, too pure to suspect malice, scolded her friends for being rude to the stranger.
Shame on you. I'm sorry, she's just a poor old woman.
Realizing they couldn't stop her, the animals raced to fetch the dwarfs. The witch promised the apple granted wishes.
Go on.
Snow White,
It's a
wishing
wishing
for her
apple.
prince,
Make a
lifted the
wish
fruit to
and
her
take a
lips.
bite.
One bite was all it took. The princess fell to the floor, silent and still. The queen had won. At the mine, the animals arrived in a panic. The dwarfs instantly knew something was wrong. They raced home as fast as the deer could carry them, praying they weren't too late. They arrived just as the witch was leaving. A storm broke overhead as they gave chase. Through the wind and rain, they pursued her up the treacherous cliffs. Cornered on a precipice, she tried to roll a massive boulder onto them. She cackled with evil glee, ready to destroy her pursuers. But nature itself struck back. A bolt of lightning shattered the cliff, and the wicked queen fell into the darkness below, never to be seen again. The evil was gone, but the cost was too high. They returned to find their beloved princess, asleep in death. They wept for days, but she looked so alive, they could not bear to bury her in the cold ground. Instead, they fashioned a coffin of glass and gold so they could always see her beauty. Seasons changed, but Snow White remained perfect, as if only sleeping. Then one spring morning, a prince who had searched far and wide for the beautiful maiden found the clearing. Struck by her beauty and tragedy, he knelt beside her. He gave her one final farewell kiss. Love's first kiss. The spell was broken. The sleep of death was lifted by the power of true love. Joy erupted in the forest. The dwarfs danced, the birds sang, and happiness returned. She bid farewell to her 7 little heroes, promising to keep them in her heart
Goodbye.
forever.
I will never forget you.
The prince swept her away to his kingdom, and they lived happily ever after.